lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast that prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hey there, welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
And I'm Jacob Balcom.
And thank you for joining us this week. We're going to be talking about Werewolf by Night, issue number 8. But first, Jacob, you talked to author Tim Tucker about his book, Above the Circle of the Moon, an 18th century werewolf novel. And it's the first of a series that he's proposing or planning on called the Cornish Chronicles. Tell me a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, I had a real nice chat with Tim, and he talked about his book. He talked about distribution of Marvel in the UK, which I thought was really interesting. And we had a great chat.
Let's check it out.
So today we're going to be talking with Tim Tucker, who is in Bristol. We're going to be chatting a bit about werewolves. Thanks for being on, Tim.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Well, this will be fun. And you've also written a book this year, right? A werewolf-themed book?
I've been writing it for a while, but I published it this year. So it's the first in a series of werewolf novels. And that's, this is the first one, Above the Circle of the Moon. But I've got to tell you how I found you, because I've been writing this novel, the first novel, for about 6 or 7 years. It's taken me ages because of the research that I've done. It's just set in a historical time. But after I published it, and sort of during, but up to when I published it, I thought, I really need to get up to speed with all the werewolf stuff that I haven't caught up with before. And Werewolf by Night was one of those. So I got myself a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, and I started reading it. And then, when you think, there must be a podcast about this, because nowadays there's a podcast about anything. So I started reading the comic books, and then I looked up podcasts, and yours had just launched. I mean, you've launched this really recently, haven't you? Your podcast.
Oh yeah, it's pretty new.
So I was like, this is meant to be. There's a podcast about the very books I'm reading. So it was great timing for me. I thought, well, this is so relevant, and I've got to say, I'm not just. But I was so blown away. You guys are doing a great job. And I found it a big lift, actually, because here in the UK, I'm based in the UK, and we've got another lockdown just started. Lockdown 2, they're calling it. And it really lifted me hearing your commentary on the werewolf comics that I was reading. It really added another layer to my sort of enjoyment of those comic books. So, it was good timing. And then I thought, hey, why not try getting in touch and seeing if we could chat? So I'm really pleased we could.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the kind words. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun, and it's definitely, as I think we've mentioned on the show before, it's definitely been a lockdown therapy session for Matt and I to do this every week. And just talk about that.
Where are you guys based?
We're on the West Coast. We're in Portland, Oregon.
Right. Okay. So you've got lockdown too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we should have a very strict lockdown right now, but it's maybe not as strict as I would like. I think you guys are a little bit more on the ball over there than we are. Hopefully, well, yeah, I know everything's a little wacky right now, which is why it's nice to just kind of, lean on old werewolf comics for.
Well,
for
it's
comfort.
Fantastic, isn't it? And what I like, not just to make this like me reviewing you, but what I love about it is that you've got, you take it seriously, and you've got a real passion for it, but you're also not afraid to kind of laugh about it and find the funny side of that. And I love that, because there is that 70s era, you call it the Bronze Age, right? I picked up from your is kind of funny too, isn't it? There's some really cool stuff, and there's some really funny stuff. So yeah, it's been really fun to share that through you guys.
Cool. I'm glad. Yeah. Older comics, they're great. And yeah, we both, Matt and I, have a real passion for them, but there's some goofy shit in those things that you can't help but just make fun of, because it's really silly, but
it is.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, I think you used the phrase "batshit" for one issue, and it's so funny because I think it was the which one was it? It was probably. I mean, there's been a few batshit issues. I'm keeping pace with you now, but I remember reading it thinking, this is nuts, and then of course it helped to corroborate it because you guys are going, yeah, this is batshit crazy.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. So you're reading Werewolf by Night on Marvel Unlimited, right?
Yeah, exactly. I got it on Marvel Unlimited. I just a bit of background on my kind of comic book history. I'm mid-50s now, nearly, but I started reading comic books in the kind of mid-70s. So it was around about the time that Werewolf by Night was published, but I never got to read it because here in the UK, I don't know, you probably don't know, but in the UK, we didn't get the same comic books you guys got. We got these sort of really weird bundled versions of comic books from your comic books, and they were called something different. So I got the Mighty World of Marvel, they were called, and they were called the superheroes, and they would take various different books of yours and put them all into one book, but they were in black and white as well. They weren't in color. So we had black and white comic books. But I remember seeing, because it was around that time, I remember seeing the Werewolf by Night, and we never got it. And I was kind of like, oh, I'd love to read that because I was really into werewolves. But in the intervening years, I never got round to ordering or catching up with it. So now seemed the time, it was a really good time to kind of go, yeah, I'm writing a book about werewolves. I need to read Werewolf by Night. So
definitely. I collect a little bit of. I'm a fan of the Alan Class digests, the old horror ones. I have a few of those that I really like, and I like. So did you? Now those were published from the early '60s, I think, up into the '80s, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and eventually we started getting proper Marvel comics and proper DC comics, but they were on import at first. But we never got anything kind of as cool as you got. So it was always a bit of amalgam and strange kind of mixtures of superheroes and things. And Dracula Lives, actually, that was a title that I think came over from yours that was all about the horror side. But I actually got into werewolves from House of Hammer. So there's a magazine here called House of Hammer. I don't know if you got anything similar. And then it changed to be called Hammer House of Horror. I was looking it up a bit before this podcast because when you remember that far back, because I was like 9 or 10, and I couldn't remember exactly how it came about. But having done a little bit of research, it was they would do comic book versions of the movies, the Hammer movies. Did you get that in the States? Yeah, it was really cool. In fact, as a result of doing a bit of research, I found some on eBay and I've ordered them. When you see a cover that you haven't seen since you were 10.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, I've got to have it. So, and the one that really struck me was Curse of the Werewolf, which I think you saw recently I was listening on one of your recent podcasts with Oliver Reed. Was it you or Matt? Yeah.
No, I had recently watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was making me laugh because I kind of experienced it first as a comic book, and it was really cool because they did it literally frame by frame in this black and white comic book style. So I got into that, and I thought it really had made an impression on me for some reason. And I loved the film at the same time. And then Legend of the Werewolf. Did you ever know that movie? That was another British movie around the same time, 1976.
No, I'm not sure I've seen that yet.
That's not a Hammer movie. It's I don't even know who made that, but it's another British one. It had Peter Cushing in it, and it had kind of a very Hammer-like feel. So that was cool. All that happened, and I sort of loved werewolves from then on. And that's my earliest memory of werewolves, actually, from those books.
That's great. Oh, I'd love to see comic versions of the Hammer films. Did they even do comic versions of like the more saucy ones from the 70s?
I think they did, yeah, because I remember there was the one with what's the Countess Dracula, I think it's one of them.
With Ingrid Pitt.
Ingrid Pitt, yeah. I can't forget that, yeah.
No boy is ever going to forget that.
Blooded male, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did those and the Gorgon and Dracula. Yeah, it was great. I'm going to go back and get some of them, actually. I really wished I'd hold on to them. And then it was, so if you don't mind me going on with my history of werewolves, so there was those two movies came quite close together. The Oliver Reed one, Curse of the Werewolf, Legend of the Werewolf. Then there was American Werewolf in London in '81, which blew me away. Still one of my favorites. And then there was I don't know if there was a dearth of werewolf movies, but I kind of lost track of them until kind of 21st century. where there was a great run from Ginger Snaps. Have you seen Ginger Snaps?
No. Me about that. Yeah, I'm
watching,
almost going chronologically through the series, so I'm trying to. Yeah, there's a loose chronology that I'm doing. So yeah, I'll definitely.
That's a good idea. I should do that. Yeah. But yeah, when you get to the 2000s, there's a great run, I think, because there's Ginger Snaps and Dog Soldiers, which I love, and there's a movie called Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is a French movie. Well, actually, yeah, it is a French movie. It's in French, and it's set in the kind of French Revolutionary time. That's great. And then Underworld, which I like the werewolves in Underworld. You must know that movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. And the remake of Wolfman in 2010, which was cool. Was
that the one with Benicio del Toro? Yeah. I thought that was all right.
Yeah. So, but as long as it's got a werewolf in, it's halfway towards being a great film. As long as the werewolf's pretty cool, I'm all in. So yeah, it's been a sort of good history of tracking werewolf movies and enjoying them, and finally getting around at this time in my life to actually writing a book, a series.
That's really cool. I saw you had posted on Instagram about the new Werewolf by Night that Ben and Taboo are doing. What did you think of that?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm all in on werewolves, and I read it before your interview with them. Mm-hmm. And I could tell they'd be enthusiastic. You can tell from the style of it, can't you? The whole energy of it and everything. And then the interview just boosted that like 100-fold because they were so full on, and I love it. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that going on, and I hoping it will be a full run series. But yeah, that's great news that's come back as well. It feels like the cosmos is aligning around werewolves at the moment, doesn't it? With you starting the podcast, them rebooting it, and it's great.
Yeah, it does. This is the year of the werewolf. We're all going to just take that and be comforted by it, and hopefully be entertained as we're all stuck inside our apartments or houses for the next year. Yeah. So what do you think of the creative teams so far? We're I think, as you can probably tell from the show, we're most into the Jerry Conway, Mike Ploog team up. But I love the Mike Ploog art and Conway. I think you nailed it. I'm so but partly influenced by what you're saying, but also agreeing with that. I think Conway writes the better. He seems to get it more at the moment, anyway. And I'm on just an issue ahead of where your podcast is, so I'm really in line with you. And I think I'm preferring the Conway stuff. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Whereas Len Wein, I think you said, and I kind of agreed when I was reading it, this slightly different emphasis on the characters, and he didn't quite nail Jack Russell for me. I mean, it's great, but no, Len Wein is great, but yeah, we kind of feel, and Conway's fairly well known for this, for really fleshing out the supporting cast of a book, which he did in Spider-Man, and definitely did again in the Spectacular Spider-Man in the 80s. And Len Wein just doesn't quite get it as much, but yeah, Conway's coming back in an issue or two, so we're very excited about that.
So I told you I'm reading these after I finished my book. So my first book is finished. I'm just going to publish the second book in the series, but I finished my first book. I thought, right, I'm going to read this comic book now. And I've got to tell you, I wrote a scene. It's based in the 18th century Jamaica and coming over to 18th century Britain. So the slave trade and all that sort of thing. And I thought, right, they're coming over on a boat. They're going to have to turn into werewolves on this. This is a spoiler. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be cool if a werewolf fought a shark? This is what I think. And so there's a whole section. I'm going to blow it now. There's a whole section in the middle where they fight sharks, and I thought that is so cool. That just came to me. I'm so cool. And then of course I read it, the Werewolf by Night, after I published. And is it issue 2 or something?
Yeah, it's issue 2.
So now I'm thinking, right, I definitely didn't read that. That's not me in some weird way unconsciously ripping it off. That was just me coming to the same conclusion as Conway, that wouldn't it be cool if a werewolf fought a shark? So the one ray of hope in that, now I know it's not original, but the one ray of hope was you, I think, saying that's what every 10-year-old boy wants to see is a werewolf fight a shark.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's ever going to get tired of that premise. So that'll work out real well. Well, yeah, we're looking forward to the next one. I got to read the first one too. What was the name of the first book?
Thank you. Yeah, so it's called Above the Circle of the Moon. As I say, yeah, set in Jamaica, and then they come over to Bristol, and then the second book, which I'll be releasing later, called Beneath the Silent Moon. In fact, that's the first time I've announced the title. So yeah,
awesome.
Beneath the Silent Moon, book 2, and then book 3 next year. Yeah, yeah, it's fun writing werewolf stuff, and it's funny because I didn't want to. Part of the reason why I didn't read too much beforehand is I didn't want to get influenced by other things. And there's so much. I mean, Conway and Wine and the Rice, they've got to come up with new werewolf stories every week? Or was it bi-monthly at first and then monthly?
Yeah, it was monthly at this point. So yeah.
I mean, that's a tall order. So I didn't want to get too subsumed, but I mean, they're so of their time, those stories, that fortunately most of it isn't stuff that would work for my context anyway.
No, not really. What did you think of the storytelling device that Ben and Taboo use in the new Werewolf by Night, to where Jacob changes into the werewolf every night?
Yeah, that's a big call, isn't it? I'm fine with it. I don't mind people messing with the whole werewolf thing, because some people have it as only one full moon a month, don't they? And then it's now become quite normal to have 3 full moons a month. I think Buffy's werewolves were 3 full moons a night, and certain now Conway's are, aren't they? So yeah, I'm fine with that. I think it's cool. I mean, I think people play with all the I think it makes the storytelling a lot easier. As the point you made, it certainly gives them a lot more scope for not having to kill time between two monthly transformations. So yeah, I think it's probably the right call. But I've not done that. I've gone with the traditional 3 nights a month. There's also all the other things, isn't there, about how like for my werewolves are immortal. I'm not sure if we know yet whether Jack's immortal, do we? Jack Russell in Werewolf by Night, is he immortal?
I don't think so, but no, it hasn't been addressed yet.
No, and I'm not sure if that's even a thing for mine. Are in my books, they'll live forever. There's a great set of books. I don't know if you do any, because you talk about werewolf media, don't you? And there's some great books quite recently. The Last Werewolf by Glenn Duncan. Have you read those books?
No, but like you said, we're kind of devouring all werewolf media right now. So
I definitely put that on your list. It was written in 2013, and it's a trilogy set in modern day. Well, they're really good. The Last Werewolf, Tallulah Rising. Forget the name of the third one, but they're well worth reading. And his are like very long-living werewolves. I think they live for hundreds of years. But the Last Werewolf is literally the last werewolf in existence, or so he thinks. So, I highly recommend that if you're looking for more werewolf stuff. But there's plenty to get your teeth into.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always looking for new stuff to talk about. Yeah, at the end of every episode, we try to talk about different werewolf media we're consuming during.
I love that bit. Yeah,
during lockdown.
Well, when you do that and the comic book bit, I'm taking my notes, because I'm thinking, right, what do they know that I don't? And certainly on the comic book side, your knowledge really shines out. So I'm literally going to read what you suggest. So keep that up. That's great.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Tim. That was that was really great. And we'll be sure and put something on our Instagram, links to your novels. And
thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to talking with you again.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. Highlight of my week to talk to you. Sorry I couldn't speak to Matt, but say hi to him for me. And good luck with the podcast.
Thanks so much.
Well, that was pretty cool, Jacob.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Big thanks to Tim for having that nice conversation with me.
Yeah, and I downloaded a sample of that from Amazon, and I'm going to buy the whole book and check it out. It was interesting, so I'm into it. So, folks, you can find that on Amazon or anywhere you buy digital books or paperback. You can get a physical copy. Tim is on Twitter at ttucker23 and Instagram at tmtuckerauthor. So check out the Cornish Chronicles, Above the Circle of the Moon. So tonight, Jacob, we're talking about Werewolf by Night, number 8.
That's right. I'm excited to hear what you think of this issue.
Well, I have thoughts. First of all, people talk about how lycanthropes are tortured by their dual nature, and it's this whole tortured existence. They travel around like the Hulk and drift from town to town, wash dishes until they turn into a beast and cause some problems and move on. I feel like that's nothing compared to my torture about putting Marvel Team Up number 12 before this issue.
So you just want to start into this right out of the gate then?
I do.
Okay, so I brought it up in a few pages from now, but I want to suggest a solution to this. So, okay, there's a point in like maybe 2 or 3 pages where the Beast is knocked unconscious. Now, I propose to you that think that, the Beast has been gassed a lot by Swami Riva in the last 2 issues. So he's pretty groggy and weird.
Yep.
He gets knocked out in the beginning of this issue and is unconscious. So I think that what we should do is think of Marvel Team Up number 12 as a fever dream that the Beast is having as he is unconscious. So he dreams that, that Jack and Buck and Lissa go have their San Francisco adventure. It's completely out of chronology anyways. It's not canon. It doesn't really have anything to do with the main story.
But
so it's just does it though?
Peter remembers this. Moondark comes back. I understand what you're saying, though. That's how I'm going to sleep at night. I will sleep tonight based on your little cheat, but I know deep down that this is all a lie and that I did this wrong. But it's okay.
Okay.
At any rate, here we are. And we have a Plug cover that I've always been kind of a fan of in its dorkiness. I feel like it's a nod to Amazing Fantasy and kind of the Atlas era Tales to Astonish kind of stuff. The big monsters. Do you think that's right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's like Tales to Astonish and stuff like that. Yeah, this is like the Groot, the original Groot monster. Or
yes. So this has like a big banner on it that says he lives, he breathes fire, and nothing can stop him. And then we have this great panel from Plug here that is, I assume, Lissa tied up at the foot of a tree.
It looks like it, even though, of course, nothing remotely like this happens in the issue. But
yeah, which is kind of a classic, right? Throwback to the whole lie cover things. So in the center of the page, we have this big white hairy Beast with big, huge eyebrows. He looks like the owl or Thufir Howitz, like the Mentat eyebrows. But he also looks kind of like Wendigo from Alpha Flight. But it's a big white hairy abominable snowman Yeti type thing, spewing out this fire that goes down. The Beast is jumping to one side, Lissa's tied up to the other side of it, and at the bottom in the flames it says Krog the Lurker from Beyond, and that's Krog with 2 G's. Don't confuse him with the Krogs of Detroit, because that's a whole thing that pisses them both off.
See, I like that you compared him to the Wendigo. I thought, a combination of the Wendigo and a little bit of Krampus.
Yeah, just a little Krampus in there too.
There's a tiny bit of Krampus in there for me. But yeah, I love this cover. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the first time, barring that Minotaur thing. What was that thing called? Dragonus?
Dragonus.
Barring that, this is really the first monster he's met, right? He's met chauffeurs. He's met bald laypersons, laborers. But this is his first like real monster proper.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dragonus was a monster, but yeah, this is his first real monster.
It's his coming out party.
Yeah, it is.
So I like this cover. It's not super subtle, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I really feel like it's a nod to the comics of 15, 20 years before this that are monstery, and it seems like a loving homage to me.
I totally agree. So yeah, I guess I should talk a little bit about this issue. It's from August of 73, and this is Len Wein's last issue of Werewolf by Night.
Short tenure.
Yeah. But in less than a year, he becomes editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, taking over from Roy Thomas. He lasted a year before handing the reins over to Marv Wolfman.
I was going to say he didn't. Yeah. Wasn't very long. How long was he editor?
Yeah, just a year.
Oh, you're talking about his tenure as editor, not his tenure on the book.
No.
Did he go to DC at that point?
I'm not sure. He probably did.
Did he ever come back to Marvel after he went to DC, or was he a company oil kind of guy?
I don't know. I can't remember with Len Wein specifically. And every time I pretend to know, it's like these guys always bounced around. Like all the big guys bounced around.
Like but, I know Kirby's whole, that's like a famous his path is pretty well known, and his dissatisfaction with Marvel when he left. But interesting. Okay. Who was behind the new Teen Titans? Was that Wolfman?
Yeah, that's Wolfman and Perez, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just making sure. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no. So we do have quite a team on art this issue. So we have Werner Roth penciling and Paul Reinman inking. I'm just going to pronounce his name Werner because it's more fun.
Oh, it's Werner.
Yeah,
I say Werner Herzog, so I say I'm pretentious. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would never say Werner Herzog.
No.
Kind of monster does that. So, okay, I guess we'll get a little background info on Werner Roth. So he started at Marvel in the early 50s, and his first major work was creating and drawing Lorna the Jungle Girl, which I think is in 1953, which I love. Have you ever seen any of that?
I've seen a bit here and there in books, like samples of it, which I thought was cool. It's gorgeous, but I've never read it properly, no.
Yeah, I have a couple of the Atlas era Marvel Masterworks, and I have one of Lorna the Jungle Girl, and then one of the Jungle Adventures, and I love it. I mean, the art is really, really great. Like Roth was pretty famous for drawing the gorgeous ladies.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of, I don't know, I kind of thought of him as like Marvel's answer to Matt Baker.
I don't know Matt Baker.
The kind of cheesecake artist. Matt Baker's awesome. You should really look him up. He I guess most famously did Phantom Lady.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking Golden Age. Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, Roth's style is pretty clean and simple, and is similar to a lot of the other artists that worked in the Golden Age of comics, I feel. And in the Silver Age, he was the main artist on X-Men, taking over from Kirby in issue 13. I think he goes all the way to 49.
Damn.
Yeah, and then
was that selling? That book?
No, because so he did it until 49, and then I think Steranko does an issue, and then Neil Adams does the rest of the issues before it was canceled. But it was a really poor selling title. Adams and Roy Thomas do their run, and then the X-Men goes into reprints,
right?
Until Giant Size. And so no, I don't think it was a high selling book. I don't think it was before the Roy Thomas Neil Adams run, I think it's all pretty forgettable.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'm just not a fan of it. I think Roy Thomas was really young when he started writing it. I think we had kind of a Conway situation, but yeah, Thomas, I think, got a lot better. I think he needed time to, kind of find himself as a writer.
So he needed a throwaway book where he could just try stuff out and grow.
He did. But I mean, honestly, the X-Men was kind of a throwaway book. It wasn't a huge success. I don't know if you've gone and reread the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby run, but it's pretty forgettable.
I think I read the first two Essential collections, so I think I read up to basically where you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, I think the concepts are a lot more strong than the actual execution.
Yeah.
I mean, also it's like we have so much, history with X-Men, and so obviously I'm not going to read the first 10 issues and think they're anything like Claremont Byrne.
Right. Yeah, I like Werner's stuff on that book, though.
On the X-Men?
Yeah. That was okay.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. I think it's, I think it's good. It just, I don't know, kind of bores me. Kind of bores me a little bit.
It was very workmanlike, but I mean, it wasn't.
It is. It's just like a Don Heck or a Herb Trimp, to where you're like, no, they're good. Of course they're good, but they're not. They don't exactly stand out to me.
Yeah.
But after Neil Adams took over on X-Men, Roth went over to DC for a bit. He was drawing Lois Lane and some of the horror books, like I think mostly Unexpected, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought this was funny. At DC, he was paired a lot with Vinnie Coletta.
Oh,
as his inker. I love your reaction.
Sorry, I have to do a contractual.
Yeah, I know. He's so hated. But I'd like to imagine that he was paired with Roth a lot because his pencils were really easy to ink. Actually, Herb Trimp said in an interview that inking Roth was as simple as connect the dots. And, because Coletta is a famously fast yet terrible inker. So Roth was probably a really easy assignment for old Slick Vinny to make a quick buck on.
Yeah, I'm sure listeners know who Vince Coletta is, but he's a criminal. He's an art criminal. If you go and look at some of Kirby's pencils and some of his inks where he just deleted a bunch of stuff with shadow or chose not to draw it at all, he was fast. That's what I can say about Vince Coletta. I've seen him do good work. I'm sure everybody can see good stuff in what he's done, but he is an art criminal. His legacy is being a monster.
I love what does Neil Adams says that he's ruined more art than anyone in history or in comic history. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
No mincing words.
Nope. There are apologists, and I'm not one of them.
No, I'm not either. I think he's pretty much garbage. So the last things that Werner Roth did were for Marvel, though. So Roy Thomas publishes this comic history magazine called Alter Ego. And in issue 42, there's an article about Roth that mentions this kind of intriguing possibility that he was meant to take over Werewolf by Night permanently, which kind of blew me away a little bit. It was an article I think Nick Caputo wrote about him. And this little tidbit, I guess, came from the third issue of Jim Steranko's fanzine, kind of like professional type fanzine, I guess. It's maybe not the right word, but it's called Comic Scene. And it's from like 1973. And yeah, I took a little snapshot and showed you the little blurb from Alter Ego. And I was just like, that's crazy, right?
Crazy how? Like a fox?
I don't know. I just thought it was really shocking to me that they would have considered that. But obviously that didn't work out because he was sick. He got cancer like the year before. So maybe that was just talked about, but I don't think anyone would have really thought that could have happened because he died of cancer on June 28th of 73. So this issue of Werewolf by Night was one of the last works he had published.
Wow.
So I think
in his lifetime? There's like one or two posthumous things, right? But
yeah, there's a couple posthumous. Well, no, there's only like two real posthumous things. There's this, and then I think an Astonishing Tales that he did art for, and that's it. And he was 52.
Oh.
Yeah, no, kind of sad.
So obviously the art of this book was in flux at this point in time, in that they were looking for a semi-permanent replacement for Plug, who was too busy to do this regularly, right? I mean, we had Plug and Mooney last issue, so I think they were kind of looking around for who's going to be the fixed artist.
I think so, but I keep looking like to see what other things Plug was doing at this time, because I'm like, oh, he must have been so busy. It doesn't look super busy. I mean, I just think that he's not I don't think he works super fast because he's just so good and detail oriented. It's like not everyone can be Kirby and just, bang out a fucking page a day. But he was only doing a couple other comics, like maybe two other comics. But I think that because of his precision, I think that load was too much.
Yep. I would say you and I have talked about some spottiness here and there in his work after issue number 1, where some of the non-dynamic, non-action scenes seem a little rushed and light. And I honestly think that he looked back at some of that stuff and was like, I don't like working this way. Like, I don't like this schedule. I don't know. I don't know how wild he was about doing comics. I think he was maybe interested in some other art outside of comic stuff too. But
well, he eventually, he didn't do a ton of stuff. If you look up his career, there's not a ton of issues.
Yeah.
I don't know, 40, 50 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more, but not much. And then he was totally out by the late 70s, early 80s. He was done. He was doing storyboards for movies.
Yeah.
And probably making great money and not having to deal with bullshit. So I'm sure it was a good move.
Yeah, it's funny following some artists, like on social media talking about doing like Gabe Hardman, like just different people that do storyboards on the side, and it's like it pays so well.
Yeah.
Like I come to comics because I love it. It's not because of the check.
No.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. So yeah, that's about Werner Roth. Now, Paul Reinman is his inker, and he's also old school Golden Age guy. Like he was, and not a young man at this time either. He was born in 1910. So, he began his career in comics working for the early houses like, Timely and then MLJ and DC. And he made the move to Marvel in the 50s, did a lot of Atlas era stuff, like mostly war stuff like Battlefield and Combat Kelly. But as you probably know him, and I think what he's best known for is he's Jack Kirby's inker on X-Men #1 and Incredible Hulk #1. And inked him a lot in the early Silver Age. So, no big deal. That's pretty cool.
And he's not a monster.
No, he's not.
He doesn't elide over entire backgrounds.
No, but funny you should say that, because in the same issue of Alter Ego, there's an article about him that's called In Defense of Paul Reinman.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess he's not considered the greatest artist. I don't know. It was weird. It was a very defensive article, just coming right out of the gate. Like, I know you hate Paul Reinman. Let me change your mind.
Wow.
So I don't know. His Atlas stuff was beautiful. Like, I've looked at some of his later penciling work for Marvel, and it's not my favorite. I mean, it's not bad. It's just a little boring to me. But I don't know if you've read these before. In the mid 60s, he became the main illustrator of the Archie Mighty Comics line.
Oh my God.
So he's the guy. So he's the guy that fucking did Flyman. So he with him and Jerry Siegel created, Flyman, and what is the Avengers one? It's the Mighty Crusaders.
Mighty Crusaders. I love them.
It's so awesome. Like, I just had to remind myself about Flyman that has wings, goggles, and a weapon called a buzz gun.
Yeah.
His superpowers is he could stick to walls and escape from any trap.
So he's kind of like a Houdini type guy.
Yeah, so awesome.
I like Mighty Crusaders.
Mighty Crusaders is fun. I mean, it's as goofy as shit.
It's super goofy, which is
so,
what I think is appealing about it.
Yeah, it's so bad. But yeah, thanks for indulging my little history bits. I can't tell you how gratifying it is to actually use my print resources, like my giant collection of Alter Ego and back issues, and to have them contain shit that is nowhere on the internet. That's what I love. And that's what, especially with comics history, like, you can't rely on shit just online. You just can't. Just not a lot of it is.
Yeah, the Wikipedia pages, for instance, and all this stuff. I mean, it's just, they're so thin compared to like the Alter Ego stuff and whatever.
Yeah, well,
Tomorrow's stuff.
The wikis are so thin, and they're just repeated fucking ad nauseum on every single site. So you can
just
go
cut
and
paste.
Yeah, it's just cut and paste over the entire internet. So I'm just like, it's fucking lazy, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Okay, we're going to get onto the splash page here. So our title of the story is The Lurker Behind the Door. And it's an awesome illustration of the beast, right? Like, and he's overlooking the burning remains of Calliope's carnival, which I know is probably even just painful for you to see.
It is.
Right now.
I winced when I opened the book.
Yeah, but I actually think this is one of my favorite pages of the whole issue. Like, I love the layout. I love Roth's take on the beast. I think it's a super strong page.
Yeah, there's great depth of field in here. I mean, he's up on a hillside looking down into a valley, and all the firemen are trying to put out the fire of the circus, and the moon is setting behind him. So the end of that was night 2, I think, that when he went berserk last episode. Is ending. Yeah, great colors as well on here. Yeah, so you like Werner's pencils here so far, and Reinman's inks?
Yeah, I do. I have some issues throughout this story, but I think that this page is really, really strong.
So what do you think about his approach to the beast so far, just based on the splash?
Well, again, it's all about the hair, and the hair looks good to me.
Yes, it does.
I think his eyebrows are the biggest that they've been.
Yes, they are.
I've been kind of in the back of my head tracking eyebrows because that's my deal, I guess.
Yeah,
and
everybody has a thing.
Yeah, everybody has a thing. And I like that you already mentioned earlier, Thufir Hawat. So, yeah.
So first off, just from the splash about both the artist, the pencil and the inker, I noticed that there's a lot of fussiness and attention to detail, which I find interesting. Like his green pants have these striations and almost like muscle, like human tissue, like muscle. There's so many fine lines. And of course, that's going to translate to the fur, which is our big measure of how good somebody is in drawing the beast or inking the beast. So there's, just lots of really fine line work, which I find interesting throughout this whole issue, by the way. But I felt like I was in good hands based on the splash.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the next page, we get the beast kind of monologuing a little bit, and we get a bigger sense of what Roth's pencil and his approach is to this beast, which I think is very different from what we've seen so far through Plug and any other guest artists. But he's thinking about Lissa and Buck and how he's remembering that they were there to find him at the carnival, and he needs to go back. I find it weird that Ween consistently misspells Buck Cowan's last name throughout his entire writing run with an E.
Yeah, I know. It's disappointing.
So that bothers me. And it's funny because in the Grand Comics database, they reflect the spelling of the writer. So it's A-N up until Ween starts, and it's E-N throughout, and then they switch back to A-N when it's corrected by Wolfman or Conway. So the beast is lurking around, and he catches a whiff of some delicious meat cooking over a campfire. And he does the classic, there's like the classic smoke going through the panel, and he's like, his little nose, and he goes, "Arr?" Which we're big fans of. We've talked about this many, many times. And I realized that maybe this is an acronym. Maybe these all mean things. Maybe this is how he communicates. Like this one might be all animals ravenously ready for nutritious nourishment.
Double question mark.
Eh?
See, I just expected him to, after inhaling the delicious smoke, that he would just float towards the food, Tex Avery style.
Yeah, totally. So he follows that smell, and he finds a couple hunters who are sleeping in sleeping bags, and there's a delicious hunk of meat just on a spit. And he says, the smell of this meat cooking over the fire is mingled with the unappealing essences of man. That was kind of a cool note there. And so he pads into the camp. You have to picture like the dun 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 dun. And they're sleeping, and he just ravenously, because I don't think he ate the entire time Swami Riva had him drugged. He was probably just fasting essentially because he's a zombie. So he's hungry. He starts mowing down on whatever the hell this animal is. What the hell do these guys hunt outside of L.A.?
Yeah, I really don't know. I was trying to come up with something, and I really was at a loss.
So he crouches down over the fire, grabs the meat off, and starts nomming on it. It says "narg," and it wakes up Jack in his omniscient whatever post state says that was probably not a terribly bright thing to do. Instead of like padding off with it and eating it in the woods, he just starts eating it in camp, and the two guys wake up.
Yeah, so they wake up, get out of their sleeping bags, and these guys to me look like the characters from a Mark Trail strip for some reason. I got a real hard Mark Trail vibe from them, but they're just a couple of clean-cut fellas named Henry and Lucas. So they grab their guns, and then the beast, I love this, he throws the meat at the dude's head, saying, always humans try to kill me, but unless they leave me alone, I will kill them.
Onomatopoeias in that panel are amazing.
Oh, they are. Flam, chud.
So flam is the hunter's rifle going off, and chud is the hunk of meat on a spit hitting his head.
Oh, man, it's so good. So the beast grabs one of the hunter's guns, and now we have an armed werewolf, kind of akin to the beast driving a car to me.
That was my note, was we have achieved werewolf with a shotgun.
Yeah.
it's like Amber Alert.
It is. It's so awesome. So yeah, Henry and Lucas take off, and we see the beast from behind, just menacingly holding the shotgun at his side.
Okay, so that panel is amazing. So
it is.
The beast is in the foreground. He's hulking, lurching, in his left arm he holds the rifle as they run off. So you see through between his forearm and his hip. That is the view that's framed in the shot as they run. It's like, you better run, that kind of shot. But you didn't mention how Henry and Lucas talk, because I think they might be long lost kinfolk of Joshua Kane. Boy.
Oh yeah, I know. There's. All right, you be Lucas. I'll be Henry.
Henry, I said I'd help you hunt down this wolf who been killing your chickens, but this is ridiculous.
Stop gabbing, Lucas, and grab your rifle before that thing attacks.
Ridiculous. This is L.A.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
So unless they know the Beverly Hillbillies, this just got really weird.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
On the next page, I start tripping out on the way he draws the beast. And he kind of does it consistently. He has a very strange style that I find oddly appealing. So I don't know if you like his approach to this stuff, but like I was kind of texting at you when I was first reading this, like trying to who does this remind me of, right? And like I was like, is it Tuska? Is it George Tuska? Is there a little bit of Mike Allred? This kind of like super clean, minimalized, smooth, like streamlined approach, like contours and stuff. There's some of that. There's like a little bit of Basil Wolverton almost, like in some of the detail, like his like fussiness to detail. I have a really hard time describing Werner Roth's pencils, but I love him. He draws the beast with like these kind of almond down slanted eyes, so he looks kind of cartoonish. So it almost looks like you could just put a suit on him and make him in the X-Force book that Allred drew in the late 90s. Remember that one?
Oh,
where
yeah.
They just like said fuck it. Like who wrote that? Was that Milligan? Or no? That was who wrote that?
Shit.
Well, it was just like he made an entirely new team, and they were like celebrities, and it was super bizarre and good. You read that, right?
I think I did. Now that you're explaining it a little better, I don't know if I did actually.
Oh, well, anyway, it just reminds me of that kind of like cartoonish in a good way kind of approach to non-cartoonish material, I guess. So I was having a hard time describing it in my mind. It also reminds me in a very vaguely of Richard Sala. Do you know that guy? Like he did Fistful Hands and like for MTV Liquid Television and
I can see that a little more. See the panel at the top of that page. I think the beast looks more alien than he normally does.
Yes. So I guess I was just struggling to kind of throughout several panels in this thing. Like he doesn't look like a human fused with a wolf. He looks like an entirely new entity.
Yes.
And I liked it personally. So he's got a weapon now. And, he's kind of doing a little Hulk, kind of reminiscing, looking at the rifle and saying, these humans with these goddamn weapons, they just love these things, And so he's just causing death. So he takes it and he thwacks it against a tree and snaps the rifle in half. And he's wandering off, loping off in the night and says, now there's one weapon less. Now I love Jack. So I'm going to give him a pass here because he's not fully human. His way of handling a count noun, like weapon, saying less instead of fewer, he gets a pass from me because he's a close personal friend at this point.
That's really generous.
I would ridicule him. Yeah. So at this point, he's loping off, like I said, and one of the two hunters is crouched down on the ground, and he says, "Ugly varmint, you won't eat my food, ruin my rifle, and get away with it." He takes a crack at Jack, creases the side of his head, which we need to talk about this. We need to start keeping a running count. How many times has Jack been shot so far?
Quite a few.
Adventures?
I think it's every other issue.
Yeah. So this is just above his ear. And there's a great little 3-panel. What is that called in comics when they reuse a background several times and change elements in it to be efficient, essentially? Is it called a stat? Did I make that up? Like a static image or something?
No, that does sound that sounds right. For some reason in my head, whenever I see 3 panels that I want to describe, I just call it a triptych.
Yeah.
Which I know that's not really correct though.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's 3 interconnected images.
I guess so.
It's a triptych.
I'm being hard on myself again.
But my point is these are long, skinny columns, and it's a very steep grade, like 75-degree hillside with this big fuchsia moon in the background, and the beast is kind of stumbling because he got shot, and then fully rolling like a snowball down the hill, and then he's just gone in the 3rd panel. So he got hit, and he's gone.
Yeah, and then we see the 2 hunters again. Henry wants to go down and get that werewolf pelt. But his buddy Lucas is like, no chance, Henry. You ain't getting me near that thing again. No how. Like a good LA city boy would say. And so, again, I'm sorry, because next panel, we are back at the carnival, which is totally burned to the ground.
Yep.
So we have a fireman who's thanking Buck and Lissa for calling in the alarm. A cop comes and tells them that 3 charred bodies have been found on the wreckage and the rest of the circus folk have fled. So I like the officer asked Buck if he knew what the hell happened here. And Buck is like, nope, we were just passing by looking for a friend of ours.
Buck's no dummy.
No, he's no dummy. And yeah, so they're out of their costumes. God, I hope they kept those costumes.
I forgot about the costumes.
I really do. I mean, it would have been better if they were still wearing them. We're just like, we don't know what happened.
So the bodies I'm assuming are the Swami, Elmo, and Midge.
Yep.
Okay.
That was the same body count that I got.
Okay.
So yeah, this was the point where, we see the beast at the bottom of the ravine, unconscious in the grass. And that was the point where I think we could insert MTU 12 into the narrative.
Interesting.
In that panel right there, as the beast is out before he transforms back into Jack.
Hamburger on rye, grilled onions, Fu Manchu mustache, Golden Gate Bridge. Okay. I'm almost okay with this.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned the bridge, I really think that was our clue at the very beginning that it was a dream because the Golden Gate Bridge was gold.
Yep.
And that's something that would only happen in a dream. So again, that's my argument.
Okay.
So as he's lying there unconscious, he begins to transform back into Jack. Sun's rising, moon's gone. What did you think of this transformation?
My note just says not the most exciting transformation, but solid.
It's solid. It's not. I think it's as boring of a transformation as we've gotten.
Yeah, it's not very inventive, and it's it's very morphy.
Yeah, it's like Roth's transformations remind me of like a Universal Horror dissolve shot. Yep. And maybe that's that's probably in his reference point, though, right? Like he's the age. That's probably what he's trying to do.
But I think if you did a quick dissolve between these 3 panels, which I put one of those up in our story for the show's Instagram thing, if you line the eyes up and you do a quick dissolve, they're actually pretty fun. And this one I think would look pretty good. Although that he's using the camera and to essentially zoom in as Jack is changing, so it wouldn't be super clean, but it's very true to the form. It's very workmanlike.
Yeah, I don't think those dissolves in the Universal Horror films are bad, but they they're a specific look.
Yeah, definitely. So Jack's woken up and it's dawn and he's kind of rubbing his head and he's thinking back about the carnival, and there's a Roy Thomas note about issues 6 and 7 in case you have no idea what he's talking about. He's like, well, I better get back and find Buck and Lissa. I want to hitch a ride back before they, ditch me. He's like, wait a minute, what am I thinking? It's a full moon tonight. I'm going to turn into a werewolf. We're driving down the road. Imagine this, the moon comes up and suddenly Buck finds he's riding with a werewolf with a passenger, which is funny because we've seen the werewolf driving a doom buggy or whatever, right? Or no, not doom buggy. That was Werewolf of Woodstock. We've seen the werewolf driving a sports car.
Yes, we've seen him driving a sports car, but
into Hunga Canyon.
So how does Buck not know at this point?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time. Maybe it's one of those sitcom moments where it's like, how did you not know? And he's like, I knew, Jack.
I knew the whole time.
I can't remember, but apparently he doesn't know, even though he's an investigative journalist.
Oh, my God.
So Jack thinks, you know what? Okay, I should probably just wait this thing out. So he's looking around. He finds a cave. Like, great. I'll sit here. I'll become a werewolf, eat a rabbit, something tonight, whatever. So he goes in there and he finds a little white, cute bunny rabbit. He's like, oh, sorry, fella. Guess you've got first claim to this place. Mind if I kind of squat here for tonight? And at that moment, he hears a creepy, eerie moaning coming from deeper inside the cavern. And we get a beautiful panel of his mutton chops, which are majestic.
They are. They're really great.
By the way, he has no injury. So he must have healed in the transformation. We've been talking about this over several issues about his injuries. I think since Brad was on, we started talking about, like, does he heal? We don't know. But I see no wound, no blood even caked on the side of his head. But he got creased a small flesh wound from a rifle above his right ear. And it seems to be gone.
Yeah, I think we should just assume he has some kind of healing factor. Because like I say, he's been stabbed in the gut with a sword. He's been shot a bunch of times. And, well, you know, he was still kind of injured at one point. We have that picture back in the couple issues ago of Jack like making a little sling for himself. So yeah, he can be hurt, but yeah, he heals very, very fast. So he lights a torch to investigate and kind of finds this big wooden door in the back of the cave. So he hears the moans coming from behind the door, looks around and finds this sledgehammer on the cave floor that he uses to smash the padlock on the door.
So I'm a sucker. Like this stuff, any kind of Jungian dream language stuff like this, like a door embedded in the back of a cave. Like I'm totally, oh man, I'm in, 100% in.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And then I love that, yeah, the tools are still left behind from whoever, you know, made the doors. There's like a sledgehammer, there's like a square. That's what Jack says. He says those old rusty tools must have been used years ago to build this door. And then so he breaks the lock. And as he's pulling the door, he says, I tugged at the moldering handle, straining until with a bone-grinding squeal, the door opened.
So Jack, torch aloft, enters, wondering what he's going to find, and he finds nothing. There's nobody in there. He assumes that the sound was maybe just the wind kind of blowing through the rocks in a weird way. And the bunnies come with him for some reason. So they're walking around, and he's like, you know, for a rabbit, you're a faithful little... And then the bunny starts growling. Right? It says, or grr. He's like, huh? What's wrong with him? Suddenly he's treating me like I was poison. Crazy rabbit. Now he's run off to hide in a corner somewhere. If this torch will just hold out long enough for me to find him, I'll... And then Jack comes across another staple of Mac Joy, a moldering skeleton holding a journal. Like, I'm such a sucker for Lovecraft or any kind of like fantastic fiction. You got to find some journal that explains, it's going to jump back and tell you what the horrible history is of whatever you just wandered into. I'm a sucker for that stuff. Yeah,
that you have to take from a skeleton that's clutching it to its chest.
Yeah, and Jack's word balloon just says, very small for the size of the balloon. Oh, boy.
It was pretty funny. I think that made me laugh out loud, actually.
I love it.
So yeah, conveniently, the skeleton is holding his own diary. It says,
like a 12-year-old girl.
I know. He's clutching it. Jack's like, a diary, and it's Amos Treach, his diary. Oh, it's so awesome. So I also love how like kind of casual Jack was. Well, he's kind of just like, oh shit, I got some time to kill. Like, I'm just gonna sit down and read this with my back against a big boulder.
Before smartphones, guys, you had to do stuff like this. You'd read books and you'd find somebody's diary that was dead and you'd read it. You didn't have your goddamn Angry Birds and your goddamn Minesweepers.
Cave exploring was simpler then. So Jack reads this diary and realizes that the author was a pharmacist by trade and a practicing warlock by avocation.
Yeah. How did that not spin off? Werewolf by Night? You love Werewolf by Night. You'll love Warlock by avocation.
It's so funny. And so he reads that this man, Amos, summoned this demon named Krog to make a servant to his will, but found that a being such as Krog calls no man master. So yeah, he basically calls up this demon. Krog runs off and starts killing the local townsfolk until our amateur sorcerer kind of figures out a way to trap him.
So I was struggling throughout this part to place Amos Treach in a time period. And this might be the case of that kind of Malibu Gothic thing, but like he's wearing a cloak, but he's a warlock. Yeah. So, okay, because the 70s, that might happen. But he's in like a loft with a lantern hanging from a hook. And when the Krog runs off, he attacks a dude that looks kind of 70s / Bavarian villager. I don't know.
See, I think it looks much more like a Bavarian villager from, could be the 1890s or it could be the 30s.
But then in the last panel that shows Amos, he's wearing a butterfly collar as he's kind of clutching his fists and saying, I unleash this upon the world. A very 70s butterfly collar.
Yeah, I think that you're dealing with two artists who are older men as of this point. One of them definitely on his way out. And they just hadn't done as much contemporary late 60s, early 70s stuff as they had done, 40s to 50s stuff. So I think this is just kind of their go-to thing. And I really think that Roth is drawing a lot of inspiration from Lon Chaney's The Wolfman. I really do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Because we talked about that on a previous episode. That also exists in a weird anachronistic, nebulous Europe. That just doesn't really make any sense. But it works, right? So on the next page, the diary continues. And he reveals that he trapped Krog inside of the cavern and then built that door and then vowed to guard the door to protect humanity from the thing that he unleashed upon it forever. So Jack kind of finishes that and he's like, well, that's a kind of a fun story, except there's no demon in that cave, so that doesn't make any goddamn sense, but entertaining little fairy tale. And he puts his head down in his arms and kind of nods off. And then we cut to a certain Malibu mansion and a certain Philip Russell. We have not seen him in like 5 issues.
I know. I was pretty excited to see Philip.
Yeah, so he's got a pipe in his mouth, oddly enough, and the phone's ringing, and he's yelling at the phone because Philip Russell would yell at a phone that he's rushing towards. And the last time we saw him, he had this mysterious one-sided conversation that Lissa heard that confirmed Jack's theory that he was involved in their mother's death. He has another call kind of like that where he's like, oh, it's you. I thought I told you never to call me here again. Meant it? Of course I meant it. And I mean this as well. I'm through. Do you understand? I want nothing more to do with you. So it's very radio show one-sided conversation.
Yeah, and he finishes the conversation by saying, no matter what it costs me, slams the phone down, and then there's the doorbell rings. And he's like, the front doorbell. Now what? And I knew you were going to be excited to see it's Lieutenant Hackett, LAPD.
It's Lou Hackett. Oh, man.
And he's looking for Lissa. So he wants to ask her questions about a werewolf sighting. So he's put pieces together really fucking quick.
We had that really big folder. And remember that headline that said werewolf?
But I really want to imagine this is like his first lead. This is his first door he's knocking on.
Right.
And it's just, nope, he nailed it.
Why is everybody complaining about how hard this is? This is super easy.
Being a detective's a breeze. And so then we go back to Jack. He's been kind of daydreaming after waking up and then is shocked that the moon is starting to rise. Okay, so this transformation kind of made me laugh a little bit.
I love this transformation.
I love it, but I also love how I just thought the first panel of him starting was he turns into a bit of an old Scottish man and then goes straight to werewolf from that.
Okay. Yeah. So the first panel of the triptych of the transformation is a little weird because he has an alien quality where his eyes are wide set, like really kind of far apart. So he looks and the first part of the transformation is his fingernails have grown out and his beard has grown in. And the rest of him is still human. So his eyes are really wide set apart like a halibut or something. So he looks fucking freaky. And his fangs. Sorry, he's got fangs. And I love, again, I mentioned this before, Roth's line work, like the way he draws hands. There's these fussy, crazy, fine lines in all the people's hands of all the little wrinkles, and he draws every one. And Reinman,
I would say that's Reinman too, probably, adding a little bit of detail as well.
But I love this transformation. I love the middle panel of him as the wolf. You're right. He kind of just jumps. It goes from A to Z, and then the third panel is just him howling at the moon. But I love that, again, that weird, already smooth, like fully realized, streamlined werewolf. I love it. It's like Werewolf of the Future.
It is Werewolf of the Future. No, it's cool. It's cool. I got used to it as the issue went on, and then, by the end, I could see the good points of it, and I liked it.
This is the start of the third night of the cycle that had started with the circus. And the beast is hungry again. He starts loping off to go find his food. Jack knew this was going to happen. That's why he kind of kept himself away from people. And then he hears an otherworldly voice say, "Hold, mortal." He stops and turns around, and we get a very huge panel of Krog saying, "Though your visage be different, still can I sense that you are the one who freed me from my centuries-long imprisonment, and for this you have the gratitude of Krog." And he is, as the character we described in the cover, white, giant. He's got forearm tufts, chest tufts, crotch tufts, calf tufts, and those huge eyebrows and glowing red eyes.
He's tufty for sure. There's a lot going on.
He's a tufted Krog.
Yeah. So he thanks him. He says, "Krog is indebted to you, little one." But then he just lunges towards him, just attacks him. The beast kind of gets out of the way. Krog falls onto the floor, and that panel of him just kind of lying on the ground looked really funny, like it was a scene from Cats or something. But so Krog is pissed and basically tells him that he needs the life force of others to survive and regain his former power. And so he attacks kind of a confused beast. The beast is making his normal confused sounds. A lot of question marks. He kind of doesn't know what's going on. I don't think he understands what the fuck Krog is talking about. And Krog talks a lot on this page.
He does talk a lot. So when I'm alone, sometimes I read comics, I like to do some of the voices. So I did a really great voice for him, but it's not too high like Cobra Commander, and it's not too low and bassy like James Earl Jones Vader, and it's got this kind of otherworldly raspy quality. But I lost my voice by the end of the issue because he talks so goddamn much, so I can't do it.
That is darling.
Yeah. But I just realized that when he says his former power, that in his first incarnation with Amos Treach, we never actually see him. We see him in silhouette only.
Yeah, but it's talked about that he goes into the town and, definitely fucks some shit up. But we don't see his power on panel.
But the way he manifests himself, I mean, specifically. Because that becomes an issue here in a little bit, right?
Yes.
Did I cut you off?
No, not at all.
Okay, so he punches the beast in the face really hard, knocks the beast down, and the beast fights back. He lashes out from the ground, and then he thinks, "Never let it be said," or this is the narrator says, "Never let it be said that whatever his condition, Jack Russell doesn't know when to fight or when to run." got kind of a gambler situation there, which we haven't always seen. This is a new grown-up werewolf.
Yeah, but he's done that. He left the fight with the proud union workers at the dock.
Yep.
He kind of figured out that it maybe wasn't going to go in his favor, so he took off. Man, I think the image of the beast running away and that his face looks so weird. Like it does not look like him.
It is the worst panel. It's the worst drawing of the werewolf we've seen yet.
Absolutely.
So he's just got kind of an angry gargoyle demon face, like a very humanoid, not lupine at all face. He looks like a satyr, like a goat man. And he's just stalking off with a pissy expression on his face. He looks terrible.
Yeah, he looks bad. It's a really bad drawing.
So the Krog is ranting and raving. He does not stop talking, guys. He's been in there a long time by himself. He's thought all of this stuff up. So he grabs some boulders off the side of a cliff and starts chucking them at the beast, and the beast just kind of curls up in a ball and is kind of cowering.
Yeah, so he knocks the beast out, by lobbing boulders at him. And Krog, oh my God, he just won't shut up. He goes into full-on bad guy monologue mode, but he explains that he's a disembodied elemental force that needs a host body to survive. And Krog says he tried to possess the beast, but his body was inhabited by the spirit of the wolf.
I love that.
It's pretty awesome. That is a cool thing.
Fucking rad.
Yeah, it's a neat little thing that Len Wein has added to the mythos. But so Krog admits after that he entered the body of the cute little rabbit that we saw earlier and transformed it into his hideous monster form. That tracks, right?
Yeah, that tracks. I thought this kind of made sense at first. Like, I don't know how in like demonology or I don't want to get all Ed and Lorraine Warren, but like an elemental is in demonology is considered to be a spirit or a ghost-like spirit that never was in flesh, never walked the earth. So it never was incarnate and died. It is a wild existing spirit that just roams the earth. And that is what they say a lot of demons are, which I think, I think it's all horseshit, but I think demonology is interesting just because people are trying to explain things that don't make any sense or whatever. So he was saying that the bunny informed his true form. So we saw him. That's why I had to flip back and see what did he look like back when Amos Treach summoned him? But he was just in shadow. So he is beast-like, even though he's not supposed to have human form. He is literally just a force. But he takes on bunny form because it's a giant bunny monster, which I love.
So is he trying to kill the beast so then he can inhabit the beast's body? Is that what he's talking about?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, he wanted to take the beast over to have a form.
Okay.
So he didn't have a form. He was disembodied because that's his nature.
So he's just pissed because he wanted the cool werewolf and he got the silly rabbit.
Yeah, he needs, yes.
Okay, all right.
And he needs sustenance. So.
Okay.
So on the next page, we get some more powers coming out of this guy. So he tore a tree down while he's ranting and raving. He's trying to thwack at Jack like he's a softball. And then he spews out this big thing of fire. And he's ranting about, I'll incinerate you, blah, blah, blah. And he wanders into the smoke and kind of blinds himself temporarily. The beast springs out, jumps on his back. The Krog is facing a cliff face, and the beast is on his back, pulling his head back. And he says that he struggled so hard to get away from me that he basically slipped loose of the beast's grip and smashed his head into the cliff face, which to me is like a very advanced version of why are you hitting yourself?
It totally is. It's really funny looking.
It was a very bizarre because in that last issue with the Spider-Man, he had him like a bull charging at Spider-Man and running into knocking himself out in a car door. And then he's doing this to I don't know. It's very comical to me.
Yeah, well, Krog's not happy about it. He says on the next page, he's like, I will tear your life force from you. And then, oh shit, the hunters, Henry and Lucas from the beginning of the issue return. Like, good Lord, Henry, what is that? It said, shoot first, Lucas, then ask questions. And Krog promptly kills them and steals their life force. I like both of them as Krog is holding both of them. They're both sharing a word balloon that says no.
Okay, so first of all, these guys came back. A werewolf threw a side of meat at them while they slept in the woods, and they came back the next night with guns saying, we got to come back and get this thing. First of all, that's weird. This kill I found really disturbing, actually, because he just grabs these two dudes. He says, 2 new life forces. At last, Krog can feed. And then the next panel, it just says, and when the grisly meal was over, he ate those dudes.
Yeah, he ate them.
And absorbed their life.
He still ate them. Yeah.
That's disturbing.
No, it is disturbing.
Because this isn't like the classic Grimm's fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood. Like, a hunter's not going to come and cut him in half, and those dudes are going to spring out and go, oh, thank you. Like, these guys are dead in his guts. It's really gross.
Yeah, they're dead. But you're right. They did come back. They shouldn't have come back. They came back for the werewolf pelt.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know how many free drinks you get down the corner bar if you had a werewolf pelt?
Seriously.
You'd be drinking out on that the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So he's recharged now, and he looks up and sees the beast up on a cliff, and he's like, I'm coming after you. And it says Krog's thin, semi-civilized veneer was gone now, torn away by the frustrated fury that boiled within him. So he's still mad that the beast caused him to smash his own head into a cliff. But I was really confused by a semi-civilized veneer of an elemental spirit.
Yeah, no, he was not semi-civilized at all. So, not even a veneer.
He doesn't talk about politics or religion in public, but now he's pissed.
No, he's pissed.
So the beast darts off into the cliff that we started at, and the Krog is so enraged he's storming after him. It is over, little one. There's nowhere to go from here. No way out. And he stalks in. And then the beast, kind of predictably, lunges over his head and jumps out and runs out of the cave.
And as Krog is on his back, he shoots flames at the cave ceiling, causing it to collapse, seemingly crushing Krog to death. So I did like Len Wein concludes with some way too dark narration there, I thought. When the echoes of the Holocaust faded at last to silence, the musty cavern was sealed forever shut. I'm not going to miss a lot of this guy's hard-boiled asides. I'm really not.
Yeah, there was some stuff earlier in the issue that I thought was actually okay.
Yeah, there's always some cool stuff, but there's a lot of I roll my eyes a lot more at a Len Wein issue than I do at a Jerry Conway issue. I might roll my eyes once or twice at a Jerry Conway issue, but it's 10 or 12 times.
Yeah.
In a Len Wein one. And so yeah, the issue concludes with the cute bunny escaping from the rubble. It scurries off into the night, and the narration reads, "It's quiet snuffling laced with the sound of demonic laughter."
Yes.
Just nailing home that point that Krog was and is the bunny. So I wanted to ask you, is this our first villain who technically survives the issue?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moondark comes back 7 years later, but he did not survive as far as fairness goes, right? And that was a dream. We've established
that was a dream anyways, so it doesn't matter. I actually didn't look it up. I kind of just assumed that Krog did not return anywhere else in the Marvel universe. Did you?
He didn't. This is his one appearance.
I kind of assumed. So I didn't do any due diligence.
Is it weird that I would have taken some more Krog?
No, I don't think so. Even though I don't think we've driven the point home enough that if Krog is in a panel, he's saying so much stuff.
Yeah.
He talks constantly in a very big font with very big balloons that are outlined in red. Yeah. And he's almost the hammiest villain we've had yet. And all of them have been hammy.
Yeah.
All of them.
I think he's as talky as the monk.
He's definitely as talky as Elfric. So that's our issue. What did you think?
So I really liked it. I think it was as far as the story goes, it's very slight. But I like these kind of little, not bottle episode, but like this little one-offs like this where it's Jack burning a night because he can't go back and let Buck know that he's a werewolf, and just having a very fantastic, bizarre thing happen. I mean, this is one of the more bizarre things he's experienced. And I think that I give it more of a pass than I normally would because this is the first phantasmagorical kind of thing that he's really, or at least in a while, right? I mean, Riva's kind of not that crazy. So I think I like it more because it's a big monster. It's kind of a throwback to the Atlas era monster stuff. And
yeah, well, I mean, I guess he's faced kind of supernatural stuff before, but Krog was a demon. He was an elemental spirit.
Yeah. So I like that about it. I like that. I didn't think it was a standout. It's not one I would hold up and say, if you don't like issue 8, you don't like this series or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I've gotten all I can out of Len Wein and his kind of Raymond Chandler shtick. I think I'm anxious for Conway to come back, which happens next issue.
It does.
And I think it's funny the juxtaposition of this Werner Roth penciled issue and the Tom Sutton issue, which is next, is so different. They could not be more different. And I got to say, I am really, really stoked to talk about Tom Sutton.
Yeah, I love Tom Sutton. I can't wait for a couple issues from him.
Yeah, but just reading that next issue is just like it's like Werewolf by Night if it was published by Skywald.
Yeah.
Like it looks so, it's such a adult oriented style of art.
Yeah.
It looks like something that should be in one of the Marvel black and white magazines at this point.
Definitely. I totally
It's strange that it's in color because it's such a stylized and cool approach.
So we got Conway for 2 issues, I think, coming up, and Sutton for 2.
Yeah, Conway and Sutton for 2, and then we have Wolfman Gil Kane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We made it through the whole thing without mentioning Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think we deserve a pat on the back.
We do.
Okay, let's do Werewolf by Night. There's a couple here. How interested are you in the ongoing saga of Higginbotham's trials of the beast's strength and how strong he is?
I think we should track it at least a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to read a really short letter and then a additional chapter in that saga. Dear Sir, now that Conway is leaving Werewolf, who will take over the writing duties? I think Marv Wolfman would be a natural. After all, who else could write a better werewolf comic than Wolfman? Ugh. Mike Schonk, Gonzales, Louisiana. Your wish is our command, Mike. Starting next issue, Macabre Marv takes up the scripting chores on Werewolf by Night. The only thing that scares us is he seems to identify with the character so much. So I believe maybe in production, the 2 Conway upcoming issues were in the can, so they were referring to the fact that Marv Wolfman takes over after.
Yeah, I know, but this is that's a screw up that little Chrissy Claremont should be fired because that's
I think this is Roy.
Are we sure this isn't fake Roy?
Well, I don't know. Oh, you're right. I guess in the actual issue when there was a comment from the editor that said RT, but not in the letters column. You're right. You think it's Chrissy?
I do. I do.
So what do you think happened there?
I don't know. I was trying to think. So they think that, well, because maybe the Tom Sutton stuff was in the can, and maybe the Gil Kane stuff was late. Maybe they had to hold off on having his 2-issue arc, and they had to throw in Conway and Tom Sutton's. That would be the only scenario I could think of where that would happen, unless
Wolfman steps in on 11.
Yeah, he steps in on 11, and so I think that's either a screw up by whatever low-ranking writer is doing the columns, ghosting for Roy. But I just think it's a screw up.
All right, so here we go. Here's the Who's Stronger thing.
Oh, jeez.
Dear Jerry and Mike, I was thinking of writing to you a while back to ask you why the werewolf always gets defeated by mere men. Then, in issue number 4, Clint Higginbotham asked just that and gave a lot of examples of the werewolf's inferiority. Then you answered, please take into consideration human size and age. He's not a man cursed with lycanthropy. He's just a kid. And so his werewolf strength is going to be proportionally less, right? End quote. Wrong. The werewolf strength should just be the comic guy voice. Wrong.
It should.
The werewolf strength is supernatural. It is achieved through the rays of the moon, which in superstition. Wow, this says superstitution.
Oh, jeez.
That's insane. Okay, let me start that over. I'm going to breeze over that typo. Wrong. The werewolf's strength is supernatural. It is achieved through the rays of the moon, which in superstition are evil. It does not matter how young within reason the man is, or kid. It would certainly be more realistic if the werewolf was strong enough to take on men. Paul Jackson, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Most grown men, Paul, the werewolf could handle easily. It's only in the case of an exceptionally strong being or gang of men that he has difficulty, despite the fact that his strength is supernatural in origin. Okay?
No, people are still going to be writing in about this. Yeah. It's gonna plague them for the rest of the series.
Worst response ever.
Yeah.
So I honestly think it goes on for quite a while. I'm only bringing it up over and over again on morbid amusement because I want to irritate you, because I don't think you realize it's going to go on.
Oh, I know it's gonna go on. I know when we have Brad back on, that's just basically all we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So that's that. We talked a little bit about some other non-comics art at the top of this episode, but what else you doing werewolf-wise in multimedia?
Well, yeah, last week I watched a movie from 1944 called Cry of the Werewolf. Have you heard of this?
Is it a woman character?
It's a woman.
I think I've seen it, but it's been a long time, so you'll have to refresh me.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. So it's one of the few horror films of that era that was released by Columbia Pictures. Not known for their horror, and I don't think they had much faith in it because they didn't really throw a ton of money at this film. It's pretty low budget for a big studio. And yeah, it introduces the first female werewolf in cinema named Celeste Latour. And she's a Romani princess from Transylvania who comes from a long line of werewolves. And this is one of those films that, like, werewolf just means a normal wolf, like not a wolf-like person. So they were able to do transformations pretty cheaply.
Yeah.
And there's this one, it's pretty cheap. It's a low budget film, but it has a really cool feel to it. Like, it had an Ulmer feel to it for me. I saw that you posted you just watched Detour, and I wrote in my notes for this movie a week and a half ago, it's the Detour of werewolf movies.
Oh, well, then I would love it. I love Ulmer.
It had that where you don't have a huge budget, but you just achieve a lot just through mood. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was awesome. So I would highly recommend that. I think you can find it on I think it's on Prime. It's not hard to find. Like, you can find it on a couple different services, I think.
Like free?
I thought so.
Huh. Okay. I think I saw that a long time ago, but so it's kind of like, have you ever seen Ulmer's The Man from Planet X? Where the spaceship lands like on the Scottish moors and he just has tons of fog machines and it's super moody and Edgar J. Ulmer is awesome. Love that guy. I love when people also, like, I think it's Val Lewton and Jacques Tourneur or whatever his name is, like that. Yeah. Like the Cat People and all those different things. They're all kind of technically B movies, but they're just such masters of the medium that they can just use it to their advantage and make these atmospheric, beautiful films.
Yeah, I mean, Val Lewton was kind of known for making these films on the cheap, but they're so effective. Mm-hmm. Like, we just watched one that he produced called The Seventh Victim, which is a really early film that has Satanists in it. But it's great. They're not like Church of Satan Satanists. They're more just like nice, well-to-do people, like definitely like Rosemary's Babies type Satanists.
Right.
That in their normalness are actually more creepy than if they were wearing fucking hoods and like drinking blood. For some reason, it's more scary to me.
No, I totally agree. I think it's way more effective that way. Like Night of the Demon. Did you ever see Night of the Demon?
Oh, yeah.
Weren't they all kind of like dabblers? Like rich English people or something? Yeah, I think that's creepier for some reason when it's like you're just playing around with things.
Yeah.
And poor people always hate the rich anyway, so it's easy to make them the villains.
I love it.
Cool. Well, I haven't had time to watch a werewolf movie because I've been doing Noirvember. So I've been watching a noir film a day, which is pretty much all my free art time. So I haven't done a werewolf thing, but I did get a package from TKO. I think I might have mentioned this in the Instagram feed, but I think Rob Haferman pointed out that there was this graphic novel coming out, and you could get it two ways. You can get it all collected in one trade, or you can get it in a 6-issue box set slipcase. I love that idea that you don't have to, I hate waiting for issues because I'm just too impatient. I love that people that like issues can buy it in a nice set that all comes together. It's pretty cool, but I have not had a chance to read it yet, but it's called Lonesome Days, Savage Nights. And it's about a private detective that's a werewolf. And it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to be checking that out soon and talk about it on the show. But it was written by Steve Niles, that you probably know from 30 Days of Night. I think is his most well-known.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I when TKO started and that they kind of talked about that was their business model. I thought it was so smart and cool.
Have you checked out anything from them yet?
No, I haven't. There was something they had, like some big book that won some Eisners, I think. Was it a Jeff Lemire book? I'm not quite sure, but I thought they had some big names, or at least one pretty big name book, and I think it won something. But yeah, I like that company. When they started up, one of the guys went on a comic podcast called Off Panel that I enjoy, and talking about his about TKO's business plan. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. Is that Jeff Lemire book Sentient?
I think so, yeah. Isn't that TKO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their page right now, sorry. Oh, and they've had Garth Ennis and Steve Epting. Oh, wow. They have tons. Joshua Dysart. I don't know if they say his name, but I like that guy too. Wow, they have great talent. Yeah,
they've gotten big names, like more than these kind of boutique presses that have come up in the last year or two. But no, TKO's got they have the big creators.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm going to be reading that and talking about it on the show. So yeah, lots of bourbon and cigarettes and bad dames for me right now, and fatalism. So much fatalism.
What did you think of I saw you watch that noir movie with Mickey Rooney in it. What did you think of that?
I thought that was a blast.
Isn't it awesome? Like he's so unbelievable as a tough guy, but still really great. Like I loved that
So you've
movie.
seen Pitfall?
Yeah. So it basically, I mean, I don't know if this spoils anything, but it all starts with him just like stealing $20 from the register. Right.
I love premises like that.
It's so great. Like he just steals this one time.
But why does he need that money?
Doesn't he need it to show a dame a good time?
That's right. No, I loved it. It was super cornball. And him playing against type was it didn't work so much that it worked. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's absolutely how I would describe it. I thought it was great. I'm anxious to rewatch it. Actually, I saw that a few years ago, and I was shocked at how much I really liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It's very B, and it's like I said, it's a little off, but. He didn't want to be Andy Hardy his whole life. He didn't want to whatever. So he tried to go against type, and God bless him. It's fun to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite one so far has been The Chase. I think I posted about that like 2 days ago, but it's on Criterion and Canopy with a K. If your library does Canopy, you can see it for free there. But my friend Matt Merrill Lowry posted about it and just said it's this really surreal film. And I was trying to figure out after I watched it, like, is it a case of it came from a novel? So it came from a pulp. It went through the telephone game of becoming a screenplay and then went to the telephone game of a director, because it comes out the other end really fucking weird. And I don't know if it means to be like Mulholland Drive or whatever, but it's very, very surreal. So yeah, The Chase, it's worth checking out. Beautifully photographed.
I'm excited. I'm going to watch it for sure.
Cool. So, the business we have, I know we've got some cool people walking around the planet right now with some Werewolf by Night pens on because they wrote reviews and let us know.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed getting those little button packs together and sending them off to all the people that have left us good reviews and that have contacted us. And yeah, if anyone has any questions for us or is curious about anything or wants to let us know if we're going in the right direction with the show, if you're liking it, send us a Instagram message too. Just reach out and say hi.
Yeah, I don't think that everybody who listens to the show follows us on Twitter or Instagram. So in case you're not aware, Jacob has been taking some old beat up issues of Werewolf by Night and cutting out images from them and making buttons. And he's sent them out to some of the people that have left us reviews. Not good reviews. He said good reviews. Just reviews. We're not trying to buy good reviews.
You're right.
We just want reviews. So if you write a review of the show, send it to us and give us your address. We'll shoot off a postcard full of buttons for you. And they're really cool.
Yeah, it was neat. My wife and I had a real fun time one night. She collaged on these cards different images from the comics. After we had cut all the images we wanted to out of it, she took the leftover pieces from that, and then, because she's a visual genius, made them look really, really cool. And then we'll put 5 buttons on a card and mail them off. So it's been fun.
Yeah, she is a visual genius. You are correct. All right, well, thank you for listening. And until we meet again neath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.
Werewolf.